You've been through something recently. It might be something the world could see, or it might be entirely internal, a quiet unraveling that only you know the full weight of. Either way, you've been changed by it. And now you're here, somewhere between who you were and who you're becoming, not quite sure whether what you're feeling is fear or readiness. It's probably both. Welcome to Mindfulness. And today we explore something the Buddhist tradition understood long before modern psychology ever caught up, that your life doesn't transform randomly. It sends signals first, 5 specific signs that the universe is trying to move you into a truer version of yourself. What we'll explore today isn't theory, it's a mirror. And what you see in it may be exactly what you've needed to see for a very long time. 1. You feel a restlessness you cannot name. There is a particular kind of discomfort that doesn't come with a clear reason. You look at your life and, by most measures, things are fine. You have what you worked for. You have routines, relationships, responsibilities, and yet something underneath all of it is stirring. A quiet, pulling sensation, like a thread being slowly tugged from the inside. Most people try to fix this feeling immediately. They fill the silence with noise. They scroll, they busy themselves, they tell the story that they're just tired or just stressed. Because sitting with an unnamed restlessness is genuinely uncomfortable. It doesn't give you something to solve, it just sits there, asking you to pay attention. Buddhist teaching speaks of this as the arising of awareness before understanding. It's the moment your deeper self begins to recognize that the life you've been living has reached the edge of what it can teach you. Not because that life was wrong, but because you have grown larger than the container you built for yourself. Think about water that has been still for a long time in a small vessel. It doesn't announce that it needs more space. It just begins to push at the edges. That is what this restlessness is. It is not anxiety, though it can feel like anxiety. It is not ingratitude, though fear will tell you that it is. It is the first movement of something new trying to find its way into your life. The sign here is not the restlessness itself. The sign is that you cannot make it go away by doing the things that used to make it go away. The things that once brought peace no longer touch it. The things that once felt fulfilling now feel hollow in a way you didn't expect. That gap between what was and what your soul is now reaching toward, that gap is the universe beginning to speak. What most people don't realize is that this feeling is not a problem to be solved. It is an invitation to be accepted. The ancient teachings remind us that before the lotus rises into the light, it must first loosen its roots in the mud. That loosening, that unsettled, unnamed stirring, that is what you are feeling right now. You don't need to know where this leads. You don't need to have a plan. You simply need to stop treating this restlessness as something wrong with you and start recognizing it as the first sign that something right is beginning. 2. The things that once defined you begin to fall away. This one is quieter than people expect, and it can feel like loss before it ever feels like freedom. One day, you realize that a belief you held for years no longer feels true, or a role you played, the dependable one, the strong one, the one who never asks for help, no longer fits the way it once did. A friendship that used to feel essential starts to feel draining. A goal you chased for a long time suddenly seems like it belonged to someone younger, someone who didn't yet know what you now know. And the unsettling part is this: You didn't choose any of it. These things didn't disappear because you made a decision. They simply began falling away like leaves in autumn. Quietly, naturally, without asking your permission. Buddhist wisdom teaches that attachment is the root of suffering, not because the things we love are bad, but because impermanence is the nature of all things. And when the universe is preparing you for a deeper chapter of your life, it often begins by loosening your grip on the chapter you're still holding. This can feel like identity loss. When the things you used to be are dissolving, the question, "Who am I now?" can be terrifying. The mind reaches for something solid to hold on to, and what it finds instead is space. Just open, unfamiliar space. But here is what the teachings quietly point to. That space is not emptiness. That space is potential. The old structure didn't crumble to leave you with nothing. It crumbled because what is coming cannot fit inside the old shape. There's a practice that some of the oldest Buddhist monasteries hold around this truth. When something ends, a relationship, a role, a season of life, rather than immediately filling the space, the practice is simply to sit with the ending, to let it be complete before reaching for what's next, because honoring what has fallen away is how you prepare to receive what is on its way. If pieces of your identity are loosening right now, the natural impulse is to tighten your grip, to reassert who you were, to work harder at maintaining the version of yourself that you recognize. But the sign here, the real message, is to let the loosening happen, not with resignation, with trust. The universe does not take without giving, and what it gives next is always more aligned with who you are truly becoming. 3. The same lesson keeps finding you in different forms. Have you ever noticed a pattern repeating in your life? A relationship ends, and somehow the next one carries the same wound to a different face. A job situation resolves, and then a nearly identical conflict arises somewhere new. You think you've moved past something, and then there it is again, wearing different clothes but carrying the same energy, same feeling in your chest, same moment of recognition, same quiet devastation of realizing you've been here before. This is not bad luck, and it is not a punishment. In Buddhist understanding, this kind of repetition is the universe's most patient and persistent teaching method. There is a concept that many contemplative traditions hold in common, that we will continue to encounter the same lesson until we no longer need it. Not until we escape it. Not until life becomes easier or the circumstances stop appearing, but until something inside us genuinely shifts in response to it. Until we stop reacting from the wound and start responding from the wisdom. Until the lesson has moved all the way through us and left something changed in its wake. Most people, when they notice a pattern, focus entirely on the external circumstances. They analyze the other people involved, the situations, the timing, the bad luck. And there is always something external to point to, because the universe is clever enough to dress the same lesson in convincingly different costumes, different names, different places, different details that make it easy to believe this time is unrelated to the last time. But the sign, the real message, is never about the costume. It is about what the pattern is asking you to look at inside yourself. Is it a boundary you keep not setting, even though you know you should? Is it a type of connection you keep choosing because it feels familiar rather than because it feels healthy? Is it a fear that keeps making your decisions before your wisdom gets a chance to? Is it a story you keep telling about yourself, that you are too much or not enough, or somehow fundamentally undeserving of what you actually need. The pattern is always pointing at something specific, and the precision of it, once you allow yourself to really see it, is almost breathtaking. Because the universe does not waste your time with random repetition. Every loop brings you back to the same exact doorway, the same invitation, the same choice point dressed in new scenery. Here is where Buddhist wisdom offers something that most modern self-help completely misses. The teaching is not to fix yourself out of the pattern through sheer willpower or positive thinking. The teaching is to become still enough, present enough, honest enough to actually see the pattern without flinching away from what it reveals. Because most of the time, we already know. Somewhere beneath the justifications and the explanations and the very convincing reasons why this situation is different from the last one, we already know. The moment you begin to see the pattern clearly, something changes in how you meet it. Not immediately and not perfectly, but there is a subtle internal shift where you begin to recognize the lesson before it escalates, where you catch yourself at the beginning of the familiar road and feel the pull of the old choice and choose differently, even when differently feels uncertain, even when differently means disappointing someone, even when differently asks you to give up the version of yourself that the pattern helped you feel safe inside. This sign is asking you to stop asking why this keeps happening to you and to start asking what this is asking you to see, because the universe will repeat the curriculum as many times as necessary. It is not impatient. It is not unkind. It simply knows that some truths can only reach us through lived experience, offered gently and then less gently, until we finally become quiet enough to receive them fully. The repetition is not a sign that you are failing. It is a sign that you are being prepared for a version of yourself that has finally learned what you came here to learn. 4. Solitude starts to feel like necessity, not loneliness. There comes a point in certain seasons of life when being around people, even people you love, even easy and comfortable relationships, starts to feel like too much. Not because something is wrong with those people, not because you've become cold or indifferent or difficult, but because something inside you is working very hard beneath the surface, and it needs quiet to do it. It needs space that noise cannot fill. You start craving time alone in a way you haven't before. Long walks without music. Mornings before anyone else is awake, when the world is still and the air carries a particular quality of permission. Evenings where you don't reach for your phone, where you sit with yourself and realize with some surprise that the silence doesn't frighten you the way it once did. In fact, it feels like the only place where you can actually hear yourself think, where you can feel what you actually feel without immediately filtering it through what others need from you. This is one of the most misunderstood signs, because the world we live in tends to pathologize withdrawal. If you pull back, people worry. They ask if you're okay. They interpret your stillness as sadness, your quietness as distance, your need for space as rejection. And because you love them, and because you don't fully have language yet for what is happening inside you, you reach back toward the noise even when every part of you is asking for stillness. Buddhist contemplative traditions have always understood something that the busy world consistently forgets: that transformation requires interior space. Real transformation, the kind that reaches all the way down into who you are and rearranges something fundamental, cannot happen in constant activity. It cannot happen in the middle of endless conversation and obligation and the management of other people's perceptions of you. The caterpillar does not transform in the open air, surrounded by movement and sound. It builds around itself a protected quiet, a deliberate enclosure. And inside that enclosure, in the dark and the stillness, a process happens that cannot be rushed, cannot be witnessed, and simply cannot occur without the solitude that makes it possible. What emerges on the other side is unrecognizable from what went in, but that unrecognizability is the entire point. When the universe is trying to change your life, it often begins by pulling your attention inward, away from the constant external dialogue, away from other people's opinions and needs and energies, long enough and deeply enough for you to finally reconnect with your own, long enough to hear the questions your soul has been trying to ask you in the spaces between all the noise. This is not selfishness. This is not withdrawal. This is necessary preparation. There is also something deeper happening in the solitude that is easy to miss if you're watching for it from the outside. In the quiet, you begin to meet a version of yourself that has been growing beneath the surface of your daily life. A self that is more honest than the one you perform in public, more grounded than the one who manages everyone else's comfort, more aligned with what actually matters to you, not what you have been told should matter, not what the world around you has decided is important, but what your own deepest knowing recognizes as true. That self has been waiting, quietly, patiently, without urgency or complaint. It has been waiting for you to create enough silence to finally hear it. If this is where you are right now, craving quiet in a way that feels almost physical, pulling back from noise that once felt normal, needing space that the people around you may not understand, honor it. You don't have to explain it to everyone. You don't have to justify the need. Simply allow yourself the stillness that is being called for, trusting that what is trying to emerge in you needs that silence, the way a seed needs the dark, unhurried patience of deep soil. The solitude is not a sign of something ending in you. It is the sacred, necessary atmosphere in which something entirely new is being born. 5. A deep, unshakable sense that your life is about to shift. This is the sign that is hardest to explain and impossible to dismiss once you feel it. It arrives not as a thought, but as a knowing. Something beneath the level of logic, beneath the chatter of the mind and the noise of daily life, simply knows. Knows that what has been is ending. Knows that something is coming. Knows with a quiet certainty that no amount of doubt can fully extinguish that you are standing at a threshold. You might not be able to name what's on the other side. In fact, most people who feel this cannot. It isn't a vision or a plan or a certainty about outcomes. It is simply a felt sense of standing at a turning point. Like the air just before rain, when the whole world goes still and something in your body recognizes the change before a single drop falls. In Buddhist teaching, this is sometimes described as prajna, a wordless, direct knowing that arises not from reasoning, but from a deeper layer of awareness. It is the kind of intelligence that the thinking mind often dismisses, because it cannot be proven, cannot be filed into categories, cannot be argued into or out of existence. It simply is. And here is what the teaching says about this knowing. It is not imagination. It is not wishful thinking. It is not the mind constructing a story to avoid present discomfort. When it arises with that particular quality of stillness beneath it, when it isn't loud or dramatic, but simply quiet and clear, It is one of the most trustworthy signals you will ever receive. The challenge is that most people feel this knowing and then immediately hand it over to fear. They feel the threshold, and instead of stepping toward it, they step back into familiarity, not because they don't trust the knowing, but because change, even longed-for change, even necessary change, asks something of us that comfort never does. It asks us to release the familiar before the unfamiliar has fully arrived. It asks us to walk forward into a space that isn't yet defined, trusting that the ground will meet us. This is precisely where the Buddhist teaching on non-attachment becomes not a philosophy, but a practice. Because crossing a threshold requires loosening your grip on what you are leaving behind. And that loosening is an act of profound courage, not passive surrender. It is choosing trust over certainty. It is choosing aliveness over comfort. If you feel this right now, that quiet, unshakable, slightly terrifying sense that your life is about to shift, here is what the deepest teachings across centuries are asking you to understand. You are not at the edge of loss. You are at the edge of expansion. The discomfort you feel is not a warning to turn back. It is the feeling of becoming. It is the sensation of a life that has been trying to reach through you, finally finding room to move. You don't need to know the how. You don't need a plan for every step. You only need to be willing. Willing to let what is ending end. Willing to let what is beginning begin, and willing to trust that the same intelligence that moves through every living thing, that turns seeds into forests, winters into springs, and endings into openings, is also moving through you right now, in this very moment. The universe is not trying to break you. It is trying to build you into something your current self cannot yet imagine. And the very fact that you recognized something in this video, the very fact that something in you said yes to these words, that is not coincidence. That is the fifth sign already arriving. Change does not announce itself loudly. It moves quietly through restlessness, through loss, through patterns, through solitude, through a knowing that bypasses logic entirely. If you recognized yourself in any of these signs today, trust that recognition. Something in you already knows what is being asked. You don't need to force what is coming. You only need to stop resisting it. Subscribe if this spoke to something real in you, and share it with someone who might be standing at their own threshold right now. The path forward begins the moment you're willing to take it.